Yes, people. I hope you are doing wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Welcome back to another episode of Corporate and Economic Laws. People, in the last lecture, we have covered two topics. Number one is what is a voluntary open offer. Number two is preconditions for voluntary open offer. Today, we are going to complete off with the chapter of SEBI Regulations, the Takeover Code, whereby we are going to cover the topics of number one is withdrawal of open offer, number two process of open offer, number three mode of payment, number four escrow account, number five obligations of target company, number six obligations of the acquirer, and the last is exceptions or exemptions for making a open offer. Are we clear? Shall we get started, people? Okay, perfect. The first concept that we are going to learn is withdrawal of offer. Withdrawal of offer. People, as per SEBI regulations, once an acquirer makes an open offer at any cost, no matter what the situation is, he cannot withdraw that open offer. As per SEBI regulations, once the acquirer has made an open offer at any cost, he is not allowed to withdraw it. Okay, but there are certain exemptions or exceptions whereby once an acquirer has made an open offer, he can withdraw it. Okay, there are certain exceptions under which once an acquirer has made an open offer, he can withdraw it. Let's understand what are those exceptions. People, I want you to close your eyes for a minute and think logically what could be the possible reasons that an acquirer can withdraw an open offer. An acquirer is allowed to withdraw an open offer. Number one is, if the acquirer dies, can he make an open offer? No. So, if an acquirer dies, he cannot make an open offer. Number one exception. Number two is, what if the acquirer goes bankrupt or the target company goes bankrupt? Under that exception also, the open offer cannot proceed further. Logical, people? Okay. The next two exception is, supposing I am the acquirer, I want to acquire a banking company. I am the acquirer, I want to acquire a banking company. Okay. Both companies are listed on stock exchange. So SEBI has approved the open offer. But people, is banking companies only regulated by SEBI? Are banking companies only regulated by SEBI? It is also regulated by RBI. So even if SEBI gives a thumbs up to proceed with the open offer, what if the RBI says that if you are a foreign company, if an acquirer is a foreign company and there are certain threshold limits above which you cannot acquire more in a banking company. For example, if I am the acquirer, I am a foreigner, I am a foreign based company, I want to acquire a banking company. So there is an RBI limit, let's say 20%, not more than 20% the acquirer can acquire shares in the banking company. If there is a limit prescribed by RBI and if I acquire more shares, then obviously people, RBI will deny to proceed me with the open offer. Correct? So regulatory approvals, if it has been refused, then acquirer cannot proceed with the open offer. And the last is conditions not met. Let's take an example. Supposing I am the acquirer. Okay, supposing I am Elon Musk, I want to acquire Reliance. Okay, Reliance is going to acquire a factory. Okay, Reliance is going to acquire a factory, and I am 100% sure that once the Reliance get hold of that factory, Reliance is going to be a cash generating machine. If Reliance get hold of that factory, Reliance will become a cash generating machine. That is the reason why I want to acquire Reliance. Now people, I have made an open offer at Reliance to acquire shares of Reliance. Now what if in the meanwhile period, Reliance does not get the factory? There can be a lot of possibilities, right? I am acquiring Reliance company on the condition that if Reliance gets that factory, I will acquire it. Otherwise, I will not proceed with the open offer. Okay. Will I be benefited if Reliance does not get that factory? No, right? Because the only reason why I am acquiring Reliance is because it is going to acquire that factory, and once it acquires that factory, it is going to be a cash generating machine. So once Reliance does not get the hold of the factory, people, will I be benefited? No. So is there any use of making open offer or acquiring substantial amount of shares? No. So 4 conditions. Number 1 is, people, statutory approvals have been refused. Okay, let's read it. If required regulatory approval are not granted, example, a foreign company wants to acquire 30% stake in Indian bank. As per RBI rules, foreign investment in Indian banks cannot exceed a certain limit. RBI rejects the acquirer's approval request. Since the deal cannot proceed legally, the acquirer withdraws the open offer. Are we clear, people? Number 1 is statutory approvals have been refused. Number 2 is acquirer's death. If the acquirer dies during the offer. Now, people, tell me one thing. What if the acquirer is a company or it's a fund, alternative investment fund, or it's a company? If the acquirer dies, if the promoter dies, will there be any difference in the open offer process? No, because individuals are different from the company. No matter if all the management dies in the company, but the company will still be into existence, because the company is not dependent on whether the individual or the promoter is alive or not. Even if the person is dead, the company will still be into existence. Okay. Another thing, people, acquirer can be a company or an individual, but the target company has to be a company. That too listed company. Okay. An acquirer can be an individual like Elon Musk, or can be a company like Tesla. But the target company should be a company listed in stock exchange. Are we clear? Okay. That is the reason why acquirer's death word is used. If the acquirer dies during the offer, an investor, Mr. Sharma, announces an open offer to acquire 26% of a listed company. During the process, Mr. Sharma suddenly passes away. His legal heirs are not obligated to continue with the offer. The open offer is withdrawn. This is not applicable for companies or funds. If a company or a private equity fund is acquiring shares, the death of the CEO or promoter does not allow withdrawal because the entity still exists. Third is, what if the conditions are not met? If conditions in the acquisition agreement are not fulfilled, if the acquisition agreement had certain preconditions that are not fulfilled, the acquirer can withdraw. A company agrees to acquire 30% shares of a target company only if the target company gets approval for a new factory. The government rejects the factory approval. Since the condition in the agreement is not met, the acquirer withdraws the open offer. Acquirer is acquiring the shares of a target company only on the condition when the target company gets the certificate of factory approval. If the government rejects the factory approval, will the acquirer be benefited in any way? No. Hence, the offer can be withdrawn under those conditions. Cool, people, cool. I hope everybody is with me. The last is SEBI's opinion. If SEBI deems there are extraordinary circumstances justifying withdrawal, let's say market crash or bankruptcy, a company announces an open offer to acquire 26% shares of a financially stable firm. Before the transaction is completed, the target company goes bankrupt due to fraud. The acquiring company no longer wants to proceed. SEBI permits withdrawal since the financial situation dramatically has changed. Okay. So 4 conditions we have learned, 4 exceptions we have learned. Number 1 is if the acquirer dies. Number 2 is if regulatory approvals have been refused. Number 3 is if conditions are not met. And the last is if SEBI deems it necessary. If SEBI's opinion deems it necessary that the acquirer cannot proceed with the open offer. Are we clear, people? Are we clear? Shall we draw a mind map? Okay. Permitted conditions under which an acquirer can withdraw open. Number 1 is death of the acquirer. Number 2, SEBI's opinion. Offer cannot proceed. Number 1 is market has crashed. Number 2 is bankruptcy. Death of the acquirer. Exception acquirer if it's a company or if it's a fund. Legal hires are not obligated. These two are, people, very basic, logical. Next two cannot be so much logical, but still you have to read it. Next is regulatory approvals have been refused. Example, people, banking company or insurance company, etc. Banking companies are regulated by Banking Regulation Act 1949, and insurance companies are regulated by Insurance Regulatory Approval Authority. Okay, Insurance Regulatory Development Authority of India, correct. The last is conditions have not met. Example, factory approval. Clear, people? So there are 4 exceptions under which an acquirer can withdraw the open offer. Now 2 things are very logical. Number 1 is if acquirer dies. Exceptions, if the acquirer is a company or if the acquirer is a fund. Legal hires are not obligated to proceed with the open offer. First exception is over. Second is if the acquirer or the target company goes bankrupt, the offer cannot proceed. Third is if conditions have not met. Factory approval example. And the last is, if regulatory approvals have been refused, still the offer cannot proceed further. Are we clear, people? Simple concept, people. Simple concept taught in a very simple and easy way. Okay. All right. You can take a screenshot, people. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bam. Perfect. So people, what is the process for withdrawal? Number one is very small concept, manage merchant banker approval. Okay, merchant banker approval, we understood who is a merchant banker in the chapter of how to raise finance from the capital markets. Merchant banker is the one who looks after all the conditions, who looks after all the documentation process, fixing of pricing, ensures that the IPO reaches the investors. All those things have been handled by a merchant banker. Okay. The manager to the offer must announce the withdrawal in newspapers within 2 working days, stating reasons. If I am withdrawing the offer within two working days, I have to make an announcement in the newspapers. Cool. Second is, simultaneously I have to inform SEBI, obviously, stock exchanges, obviously, and the registered office of the target company. This ensures transparency and fairness. 2 steps. Number 1 is announcing in the newspaper within 2 working days of the withdrawal of the open offer. Simultaneously, you have to inform SEBI, stock exchange, and the registered office of the company. Are we clear, people? Perfect. We don't need a mind map for this, people. Let's proceed with the next concept. That is, if you want to make an open offer, what is the process of making an open offer? Okay, let's understand this. The open offer process involves a series of steps the acquirer must follow to make a public offer to acquire shares from the shareholders of the target company. Here is a breakdown of the process. Okay. Number 1 is submission of draft letter of offer. People, draft letter of offer is that document that is submitted to stock exchange or SEBI by the acquirer, which contains every single detail of the open offer. Offer size, of offer, number of shares acquired, number of shares going to acquire, the amount of rupees going to be paid to the shareholders. Number 3, who are the promoters, who are the persons acting in concert, who are the merchant bankers, who is the target company, whether shareholders approval have been granted or not, and valuation certificate is obtained. And then who are the intermediaries, who are the underwriters, who are the bankers, every single minute thing is reflected in the draft letter of offer. When will the offer period will start, for how long is the offer period, in which bank is the escrow account opened, which we will be learning in the next concept. Every single minute detail about the open offer is submitted to SEBI in the form of draft letter of offer. Okay. The acquirer shall submit a draft letter of offer to SEBI within 5 working days from the date of detailed public announcement, along with a non-refundable fee as applicable. Simultaneously, a copy of the draft letter of offer shall be sent to the target company at its registered office and to all stock exchanges where the shares of the company are listed. Okay. SEBI receives draft letter. Okay. Acquirer shall submit draft letter of offer to whom, people? To SEBI. First, he needs to make a detailed public announcement. After the acquirer makes a detailed public announcement, within 5 days he needs to submit a draft letter of offer to SEBI. Within 5 days, the acquirer needs to submit a draft letter of offer to SEBI along with non-refundable fee. Simultaneously, this draft letter of offer is also submitted to stock exchanges and registered office of the target company. So with this mind map, people tell me the answer. Okay. Once the acquirer makes a detailed public announcement that he is going to make an open offer, within 5 working days he needs to submit draft letter of offer to SEBI along with non-refundable fee. Simultaneously, he also have to submit this draft letter of offer to stock exchanges plus the registered office of the target company. Are we clear, people? Number 1, he needs to make a detailed public announcement. Number 2, within 5 working days, he needs to submit a draft letter of offer to SEBI along with a non-refundable fee. Simultaneously, he needs to submit the draft letter of offer to stock exchanges plus registered office of the target company. Are we clear, people? You can take a quick screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bam. Okay. Now after this, people, after this, within maximum 7 working days from the date of receipt of communication of comments from SEBI, if I submit draft letter of offer to SEBI, SEBI will evaluate the draft letter of offer. If he has got some doubts, if he wants to suggest some changes or improvements in the draft letter of offer, he will inform me the changes. Okay. Draft, that is the reason why it is called as draft letter of offer. Okay. I submit draft letter of offer to SEBI. SEBI, if it thinks fit, it will say yes. If it does not think fit, then it will tell me changes, corrections, whatever it meant, it can inform me. Okay. Once it has informed me, then let's see what is going to happen. When maximum 7 working days from the date of receipt of communication of comments from SEBI or where no comments are offered, within 7 working days from the expiry of 15 working days from the date of receipt of draft letter of offer by SEBI. Did you understand anything, people? No, right? Okay. Let's understand this with this mind map. Okay. SEBI receives draft letter of offer from the acquirer. 2 situations can happen. Number 1 is if SEBI has given observations. If SEBI has given observation that no, offer period cannot be 10 days, offer period should be 5 days or vice versa. Any changes can be suggested by SEBI. If SEBI has given their observations, within 7 days, we can proceed with the open offer. Okay. Within 7 days, we can proceed with the next step. If SEBI has not given any observations, within 21 days, the next step should be proceeded. Clear? Let's see the next step. I am not going to close the suspense, people. Okay. So, people, 2 situations can arise. SEBI has received a draft letter offer. If SEBI has given observations, within 7 days, you have to proceed with the next step. If SEBI has not given any comments, within 14 days from the expiry of 7 days, which means within 21 days of submitting the draft letter of offer to SEBI, you have to proceed with the next step if SEBI has not given any observations. If SEBI does not give any observation, that means your offer is perfect. Cool, people? Okay. Now, the tendering period shall start within maximum 12 working days from the date of receipt of comments from SEBI and shall open for 10 working days. So, after this within 12 days offer will open. Okay. If SEBI has given their observations within 7 days, okay, SEBI has given their observations after 12 days from the completion of 7 days, the offer period starts. If SEBI has not given any offer, after 21 days of submitting draft letter of offer period will start. Next is completion of requirements within 10 working days from the last date of tendering period. Completion requirements means payment to the shareholders and all other obligations. Completion requirements within 10 working days after the last date of offer period. Okay, people. All right, let's understand it again. Okay, quickly you have to pay close attention to whatever I'm teaching right now. Okay, number one is acquirer submits draft letter of offer to SEBI. Cool. SEBI may reply, SEBI may not reply. If SEBI replies within 7 days from the date of receipt of observations, within 7 days from the date of receipt of observations, the offer letter, final offer letter should be sent to shareholders, stock exchanges, SEBI and the registered office of the target company. If SEBI has not given any observations within 21 days from the date of dispatch of draft letter of offer, the letter of offer should be submitted. Now people, when will the offer start? Offer will start within 12 days from the date of these two dates. Within 7 days and or within 21 days. From that date, after 12 days, the offer period will start. And then people, completion requirement. If the offer date is, let's say, 10 days, if the offer period completes on 10th January, so 20th January, until 20th January, every single formality or requirement should be completed, like payment to the shareholders, every single formality should be completed. Okay, perfect. Number one, people, acquirer submits draft letter of offer to SEBI. SEBI may give observations, SEBI may not give observations. If SEBI gives observations within 7 days from the date of receipt of observations, letter of offer should be delivered to all the shareholders. If SEBI does not give any observations, we need to wait till 21 days. After 21 days, we need to submit letter of offer. Now, when will the offer open? Offer will open within 7 days from the date of completion of 7 days. If SEBI has given observations, offer will open within 12 days from date of completion of 21 days when SEBI has not given observations. The completion should be done within 10 working days from the last date of the offer period. Are we clear, people? You can take a quick screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Let's understand what could be the mode of payments. Okay, people, when we began this chapter, we understood that Hindustan Unilever acquired shares of GSK through cash plus shares of Hindustan Unilever itself. Okay, two types of payment was done, cash and shares of Hindustan Unilever. Okay, the shares were, people, for every 1 share I am acquiring of GSK, 4.39 shares of Hindustan Unilever was given to the shareholder. Okay. So like this, what are the types of payment that can be made when an acquirer is acquiring the shares of the target company? Number one is obviously people cash. Number two is, after learning that case study, we understood shares payment can also be made through shares. Okay, listed shares of the acquirer or the persons acting in concert. For example, Elon Musk wants to acquire shares of Reliance. Okay, Elon Musk can purchase shares either by cash or by making payment through shares of Tesla or the shares of SpaceX or PayPal. SpaceX, PayPal, Tesla are the companies owned by Elon Musk. Okay, so I can pay to the shareholders either by cash or the company share itself or the persons acting in concert, their shares. Yeah. So two types of payment we have covered till now. Number one is cash. Number two is shares of the acquirer or the shares of the persons acting in concert. Number three is listed secured debt instruments. The acquirer can offer debt instruments like bonds or debentures that are listed on stock exchange and they are rated at least investment grade by a credit rating agencies. For example, I want to acquire shares, I can give you bonds, I can give you debentures, after which you will receive interest periodically. Semi-annually you will receive or half-yearly you will receive dividend. Okay, when you receive dividend will not, okay, when you receive debentures, people, when you receive debentures you will receive interest, and when you receive shares you will receive dividend. Okay, let's understand this with an example. Reliance has already invested in bonds, debentures for which they are receiving interest. Now Reliance wants to acquire Flipkart. So what they will do is they will pay them using debentures or bonds that are listed plus rated by credit rating agency. People, we have learned the meaning of credit rating agencies in the chapter of how to raise finance from the capital markets. So if an investor, if the acquirer wants to gain the confidence of the investors, what he will do is he will get himself rated through a credit rating agencies, so that investors will be 100% confident that this acquirer has not defaulted in any loans, any payments. Okay, cool. So an acquirer can make payment to the shareholders either by cash, either by providing them the shares of the acquirer or the shares of persons acting in concert. Number three, listed secured debt instruments like bonds, debentures that are rated by credit rating agencies. Okay, perfect. The last is the acquirer may offer convertible securities which give the holder the right to convert into shares of the acquirer or the persons acting in concert in the future. For example, if I make payment to you using convertible debt instruments, like for 1 year it will be bonds or debentures, but after 1 year you will have the choice to either convert those bonds or debentures into equity shares, or you can choose not to convert those bonds or debentures into equity shares, for which you will receive interest. Okay, let's understand this. People, bonds and debentures. if Reliance bonds or debentures, you receive interest half yearly or annually. For shares, you receive dividend. Okay. Now, meaning of, so the combination of bonds and debentures and shares is called as convertible debt instrument, which means if I receive convertible bonds worth rupees 100, 10% convertible bonds, I will receive interest of rupees 10. Cool. If I hold 10% convertible bonds or 10% convertible debentures of rupees 100, I will receive 10% interest depending on the plans, whether it is annually or whether it is half yearly. Now, these bonds are convertible into equity shares. Okay. Let's say the equity share of a company was of rupees 100. Cool. Now suddenly the equity share of the company 2025, it reached 500 rupees. Now when you convert your bonds into equity shares, after this period, you will be benefited by rupees 400. $500 minus rupees 100 is equal to rupees 400. Okay, so this is the benefit of convertible debt instruments. Cool, people, understood? You can take a quick screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bam. 4 types of payment we have covered. Number 1 is cash. Number 2 is listed shares of the acquirer or the persons acting in concert. Number 3 is secured debt instruments, which should be listed and which should be rated by credit rating agency. Number 4 is convertible debt instruments. Are we clear? Perfect. Now people, let's understand the meaning of escrow. People, what do you mean by escrow? Before we jump on directly to the topic of escrow account and all those things, what we will do is we will first understand the basic concept of an escrow. Escrow means it's a financial arrangement between two parties, who agree to have an agreement with each other, and then this third party, okay, I will tell you with this writing, you will not understand over this. Okay. Escrow is a financial arrangement whereby a third party regulates, releases funds between two parties they are only released upon the completion of terms and conditions agreed by the two parties. Yes, people. Okay. So people assume A wants to buy an house, B wants to sell the house. A tells to B that I want to buy your house for 50 lakh rupees. B says, okay bro, you can buy my house for rupees 50 lakh rupees. Okay, both have entered into an agreement. Now A says, I want to pay you 50 lakh rupees, but not right now, but after 2 months. Let's say today is June. Let's assume today is January. A tells to B that I will pay you 50 lakh rupees in March. Okay, I will pay you 50 lakh rupees in March. B does not trust whatever A is saying. B thinks that A is not at all serious, because there can be 100 types of possibilities that could happen. For example, A may get a better house, or A may get a good house at a cheaper rate. Okay, so what B says is, you pay 50 lakhs to a bank, you pay 50 lakhs to a third person. Okay, once after 2 months you pay me 50 lakh rupees, you take 50 lakh rupees from the bank. If you do not pay me 50 lakh rupees, I will take the money from the bank, but I will ensure that 50 lakh rupees is transferred to my bank account. This shows that A is really serious about this agreement. Again, I will tell you, A wants to purchase a house from B for 50 lakh rupees. B wants to sell this house to A for 50 lakh rupees. A tells to B that after 2 months I will make the payment. What B says is, anything can happen in 2 months. You may get a better buyer, you may get a better house, you may get a house at a cheaper price. So what you do is, I want you to be serious about this agreement. So what you have to do is, you pay 50 lakh rupees to a third person, you pay 50 lakh rupees to a third party, so that if after 2 months, if you go bankrupt, if you are insolvent, if you are not able to pay your money, I will take the money from the bank. Okay, if you are really serious, obviously you will pay me the money, and once you pay me the money, you can take that money from the bank. Okay, so it's a financial arrangement whereby a third party regulates and releases payments agreed between the two parties upon completion of certain terms and conditions of the two parties. Cool, people. With this, let's understand this escrow account in the view of open offer. So people, if an acquirer wants to acquire substantial shares of the target company, let's say for 100 crore rupees, acquirer before he makes a detailed public announcement, before 2 days, he needs to pay 50 lakh rupees to an escrow account. He needs to pay 100 crore rupees to an escrow account. Once acquirer pays all his money to the shareholders, after completion of the open offer, after completion of 30 days, acquirer can receive the money from the bank. If acquirer by chance, let's say by chance, if the acquirer does not pay the money to the shareholders, the target company can take that money from the bank. Are we clear, people? Let's understand the purpose of escrow account. Escrow account ensures that there are sufficient funds to pay shareholders and that the acquirer is serious about fulfilling the takeover conditions. Number 2, it also prevents the acquirer from accessing these funds until the takeover obligations are fully completed, protecting the interest of the target company's shareholder. When acquirer pays 100 crore rupees from his pocket, it conveys a message that acquirer is damn serious about this open offer. He is not just bluffing, he is damn serious about the open offer. Plus, when he pays 100 crore rupees to the bank, it tells that he has got sufficient funds to pay to the shareholders. Tomorrow, if I say I want to acquire Reliance, can I do so? Okay, will anybody trust me? But if I put 100 crore rupees in a bank account saying that if I do not pay to the shareholders, you can take this money from the bank, then will everybody trust me, people? The answer is yes. So escrow, when you transfer money to an escrow account, it tells that you are damn serious about this open offer and that you have got sufficient funds to pay to the shareholders. Okay, perfect. An escrow account is required as a security to ensure the acquirer fulfills their obligation during a takeover process. The acquirer must open this account at least 2 working days before detailed public announcement. Before making a detailed public announcement in the newspaper, the acquirer has to submit the amount to an escrow account. The funds in the escrow account are meant to cover the payment to shareholders and guarantee the acquirer's performance under takeover regulations. Let's understand when can, for example, people, escrow account is open. I have transferred 100 crore rupees to an escrow account. After within 2 months, open offer period starts. I pay to the shareholders. Everything is said and done. Now, what about that 100 crores? That money belongs to me, right? So, after this open offer is completed, after I pay to the shareholders, after 30 days of payment to the shareholders, then only I am allowed to even touch that escrow account. Until then, I am not allowed to touch the escrow account. The funds in the escrow account cannot be released by the manager to the acquirer until 30 days after the completion of payment to shareholders or the fulfillment of all other compliance requirements under the takeover regulations. Okay. Now let's understand what are the modes of payment to an escrow account. Number 1 is, people, cash deposit, obvious. Number 2 is a bank guarantee is issued by a favor in bank of the manager of the open offer. This serves as a security that the acquirer will fulfill their obligation. For example, JP Morgan Bank is the, let's assume JP Morgan Bank is the investment banker, is the merchant banker. JP Morgan Bank is required to transfer 100 crore rupees, that is the offer size, to a bank account. What JP Morgan will do is, it will take a bank guarantee from HDFC Bank saying that if I do not pay you the money, HDFC Bank will definitely pay you the money. So using this type of bank guarantee also, the escrow account money can be filled. Okay. Number 3 is deposit of freely transferable securities. The acquirer can deposit freely traded and freely transferable securities or shares with appropriate margin in the escrow account. Next is combination of bank guarantee and securities. A combination of a bank guarantee and security deposit can also be used to secure the obligations. People, what I will do is, we will end this lecture right now. In the next lecture, I'm going to record another lecture. In the next lecture, we are going to complete the chapter of the takeover code. Okay? Cool, people. I will see you in the next lecture. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.